Steve Gamache here with another Chef Knives to Go quick look product review, and what we are looking at this time is a Tanaka Kurauchi Aogami or blue paper number 2 Deba 180mm knife. This is a true single bevel knife. We'll talk about that a little bit. It is a right hand version only. The core steel, as mentioned, is a reactive high carbon steel from Hitachi, and the heat treat on that core steel is about 62, maybe 63 Rockwell. Construction is mainly a two-layer type sandwich, being a true single bevel, and what we've got is a soft iron cladding, which is also reactive, over the top of that core steel. This is the front side of the blade or right side of the blade as you're looking at the knife spine down or spine up. The back side of the blade has a little bit of an overlap for the cladding, but then the main part of the knife core steel is showing on the back side as well. So it's more like a two-ish layer sandwich. These true single bevels on the backside have a slightly concave surface to them, known as an ura, and that's to help food release properties. And then to sharpen them, you actually on the backside just lay it flat on a sharpening stone and abrade it, and you can see where it's been abrading around the perimeter. So this is a nicely done ura on this because we only have the perimeter being abraded away. So we've got a nice finish and grind on that. And the front side has a slight micro bevel to it. Pretty good out-of-the-box edges on these. The 165 I should have mentioned in that video, did not, but they're pretty good out of the box. They've got a slight micro bevel, so if you do ever want to take down and thin these out a little bit or deal with the polish on the Shinogi line, the blade road itself, you won't have a lot of material, as much material to remove to get all the way down to a zero grind when you get to that point. So that's kind of cool. Anyway, these are big, heavy knives. It's the nature of the beast, and the weight on this is about 12.2 ounces, 346 grams. These will all vary a little bit from knife to knife. Edge length on this one's about 183 on the edge, or 77.2 inches. Overall length, about 13 inches. This one's actually a little thinner coming out of the handle above the back of the blade than the 165 version. So this is about 7.9 millimeters, and then pretty much holds that and then thins down with the chisel grind, single bevel style grind all the way to the tip. So these will vary a little bit from spine thickness to spine thickness. This one height is about 55.5 millimeters, so these are generally tall blades. That's the style. And the handle's nothing special. It's just your basic oval hoe wood with a plastic ferrule, nothing fancy. Bit of a step between the wood and the ferrule is pretty common with this type of handle. This one's about 3.1 inches in circumference right here, and that's about appropriate for this style of blade. That's pretty normal. Here's the finish of the blade up close. We do have hand chiseled kanji. This is a fairly rustic blade, semi-refined rustic. This is a lot of value for the money. They make these blades quite well. They're ground really well, which is what is just absolutely important on a single bevel. And a lot of times, inexpensive single bevels, the grinds can be kind of iffy. This one, the two I've seen here, have had pretty clean grinds, which is really a great feature. So if you want to get into a single bevel knife and a Deba, this might be a line to check out. So there's your hand chiseled kanji. There's your core steel showing through at the edge. There's your cladding with your Kurauchi finish. And then on the back side, of course, you got a little bit of cladding there moving into the core steel. And there's the back side with the perimeter abraded away as appropriate on the stone. You got some embossed kanji on the back side. Balance point on these is going to be pretty far forward just because that's the nature of the beast, and that's usually not a big deal with these types of knives. Also, as I mentioned, the grinds on these, there's your chisel grinds, real easy to see that. The grinds on these are pretty clean. It's a little hard to tell until you actually start putting this blade road to stones, until you see where a little bit of the high spots and low spots are, some irregularities, but these look pretty clean out of the box. Again, you can't truly tell until you start some work on it, but for the money, these represent a really nice value with pretty clean grinds. So out of the box edge on this is really pretty good, about a 6 out of 10. It's got kind of a small micro bevel on it, and just a good solid value lineup with a single bevel style of knife and a nice, easy to sharpen Aogami number 2. So there you have the Tanaka Kudauchi blue number 2 Deba 180mm knife.